everyone. Welcome to another episode of Hunterdon County Farm to Fork. I'm Sandra, Family and Community Health Sciences Educator for Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Hunterdon County. And today's produce du jour in our series is strawberries. So I hope you caught Megan's video last week where, as usual, she taught us all about the culture of strawberries. Today we're going to talk just a little bit about nutrition, but we're going to get right to the recipe, which I'm really excited about and which I had a lot of fun with, which is my fancy strawberry tea sandwiches. So, as most fruits, strawberries are loaded with vitamins and minerals. And in particular, they're a very good source of vitamin C, which of course is one of those immune boosting vitamins that's really important to our overall good health. Strawberries are also high in potassium, and they also have a good amount of fiber. They contain lots of phytochemicals. So remember, phytochemicals are those plant compounds that are related to the pigments in fruits and vegetables or other properties of the fruits and vegetables. And many of these phytochemicals have been linked to positive health benefits in human beings. So some of the standout phytochemicals, which have an antioxidant property in our body, so they battle the harmful free radicals that want to destroy the cells in our body. So an antioxidant suppresses that very negative reaction in our body. So there are more than 25 different types of a particular class of phytochemicals called anthocyanins. And these are responsible for the bright color of our beautiful strawberries. And again, they're mostly concentrated in the skin, but they're related to those positive health benefits that we derive from eating fruits like strawberries and other colorful fruits and vegetables. So there's lots of good reasons to consume strawberries. Probably the best reason is they are probably one of not just adults, but children's favorite fruits. They're wildly popular, and for good reason. They're delicious. And they're one of the first fruits that are available in the springtime, and we anxiously await the spring growing season so we can have those delicious locally grown strawberries. So we're coming to the end of the strawberry season in our area, but you can still get delicious locally grown strawberries. And we're very fortunate that even when our local season passes, we usually have access to great strawberries that are grown in other parts of the country. So I'm going to do my trivia question first before we get into our recipe. And it was one that intrigued me. I hope it intrigues you. So strawberries are usually enjoyed and well tolerated by young children. However, they may cause allergic symptoms if a child is sensitive to this group of allergens. Is it dairy allergens, wheat allergens, or pollen allergens? So the question is, young children can have an allergic reaction from eating strawberries if they are also sensitive to one of those other groups of allergens. So I'll give you a minute to think about that. And the answer is pollen. It's actually pollen. Strawberries contain a protein that can cause symptoms in people sensitive to birch pollen. Common symptoms include itching or tingling in the mouth, hives, headaches, and swelling of the lips, tongue, or throat. The protein is believed to be linked to strawberries' anthocyanins. So that's a really interesting fact, and hopefully it's a rare reaction, but it's something to think about if you're a parent of young children and they're consuming strawberries for the first time, and if they have any other allergies, that might be something for you to be aware of. So that was our trivia question for the day. But on to our recipe, which is fancy tea sandwiches, fancy strawberry tea sandwiches. So why did I pick this recipe? Well, it goes without saying that I'm always looking for some recipes that are just slightly different. And I know right now on the internet, there are just tons of recipes using strawberries with all kinds of desserts, smoothies, cobblers, cakes, cookie bars, all kinds of other recipes. But I thought I would do something a little bit different and a little bit special. So I researched tea sandwiches that can be made with delicious strawberries. And I'm going to make two different kinds. I'm going to make one that is on the sweeter side, so almost like a little dessert sandwich, and one that's more of a savory sandwich. So here are the ingredients that I have brought today. So for our sweeter tea sandwich, our spread that we're going to use in between two small pieces of bread, the one I selected was Nutella because of the great pairing, the chocolatey flavor that is a tremendous pairing with strawberries. And we're also going to add some fresh mint to that tea sandwich because, again, mint is a great pairing with strawberries. So I went right out to my garden and picked just a little snippet of fresh mint. Our other sandwich that we are going to make is the savory combination. So for that one, the spread that I selected is a light cream cheese. And we're going to be pairing that with our sliced strawberries, but also some very thinly sliced cucumbers, because cucumbers and strawberries is also a great pairing. And you really, when it comes to herbs, if you want to go one step further and you wanted to include some chopped herbs in that savory sandwich, you could do mint. That works just as well with cucumber. That's a really classic combination. Or you could even go one step further and try basil. So that's another good pairing with cucumber and strawberries. Okay, so what do we need to do? Well, first, we need to clean and core the strawberries. So I don't know if you have ever seen the straw method of coring strawberries, but this is something that kids really love to do. So I'm going to demonstrate coring a strawberry with this wide bore plastic straw. And for this, you do need some kind of a sturdy straw, and it works better on smaller strawberries as opposed to, for example, a really large one where it would be really hard to get the straw through. So what we're going to do, of course, these would be washed, and we're going to put the pointy end up and hold the pointy end up and just take our wide bore straw and gently, sort of while we're twisting, poke it through. And you can see it did a perfect coring. So there's the core. And I have a perfectly cored strawberry. Kids really love to do this. You can let them do this job for you if you're going to be making these tea sandwiches, and I guarantee they're going to love it. And they will also find it fun to just sort of blow those cores all over your kitchen. So keep an eye on them, but it really is a fun experience. So you want to clean your strawberries, and then you're going to, for both sandwiches, you're going to slice them as thin as you can, because a tea sandwich is meant to be a thin, delicate sandwich, not a big, thick, hearty sandwich. So we usually start with small slices of bread, and they're meant to be thin. So I have prepared those nice sliced strawberries there. I've also sliced my cucumber very thinly. Now, a tip on cucumbers, if you can get a cucumber that is seedless, very young, where it doesn't have hard seeds, or a variety like an English cucumber that is not very watery. Those are ideal for using for tea sandwiches because we don't want a lot of excess moisture in our sandwich to make it soggy. Our choice of spread will kind of keep the bread from getting too soggy, but just remember that if you're using any really wet vegetables, I mean strawberries have a lot of water in them and so do cucumbers, so try to get seedless or very young seeds, and you can always kind of poke out the seeds with a knife, and not to worry about it, but you want very thin and you don't want any hard seeds in the sandwich. So I've done that. And then of course I went out and I gathered my fresh herbs, my basil and my mint right from my garden. And now really the fun part, which is preparing our bread. Now an interesting note, when I went out shopping for thin, small bread, I couldn't even find white bread. Now all of my choices in thin sliced breads were whole grain, which I think is fantastic. So what I chose was a whole grain, small, thin piece of bread. And usually when you're making tea sandwiches, you cut off the crust so that they are very uniform and delicate. And what I decided to do was I had the perfect cookie cutters that actually were the perfect size to cut out on my bread slices. So I didn't actually have to take the crust off. By cutting out this shape on my pieces of bread, it just removed really most of the crust. It was incredible how well this fit. So what I'm actually doing is just cutting my bread into these really fun flower shapes. You don't have to do that. You could just keep a square tea sandwich, and then you could always cut them into triangles, or leave them whole. They're small. But I wanted to go that extra mile and actually have fun with these new cookie cutters that I have purchased. And the other fun thing is, so that we can actually see the strawberries in each sandwich, I have in my set smaller versions of the same shape, and I'm going to use that to cut out basically a window on one slice of the bread so that you can actually see the strawberry, for a little fancier look. And also for just a little more fun. This is another great thing that you could let just a slightly older child do, is to cut out all of your shapes for you from your slices of bread. And don't throw away the crust, because you can just take your crust, put them into a plastic bag, put them in the freezer. The next time you make breadcrumbs, you could take them out and toast them on a pan, with any other day-old bread or whatever you're using to make your breadcrumbs. Or you could feed it to the birds, or whatever. So I don't like to waste food. So for me, it's going into the fridge to be used as breadcrumbs at a future recipe. So I'll just demonstrate cutting one slice of bread, just because I really want to use my fun cookie cutters. So here's my beautiful flower shape. I just put it on a hard surface. Actually, let's move this so you can see. Push it up here a little bit more. And I'm just going to press it down just as if I was doing any other kind of cookie. A little bit more. And out comes a perfectly shaped flower piece of bread. So this is going to be one side of our sandwich. I'm just going to do another one. And then I'll show you how to cut that window out. Really works well to do this on a cutting board, a very sturdy, voila, very sturdy hard surface, so that my cookie cutters are plastic, so they're not very sharp. If you were doing this with a metal cutter, it would go through the bread way easy. Okay, so I have my front and back of my sandwich. Now on one of them, I'm going to just use my small, similar shaped cookie cutter to cut a window So when we assemble them, we can see the spread right through that. So I'm going to use this one, cut it right in the center. There's our window. It's kind of just like making Linzer tarts. If you've ever done those, you always have like a window so you can see your beautiful jam filling. Okay, so I have the basis for my beautiful tea sandwich right there. So now it's just simply a matter of layering your ingredients. So I'm going to show you the finished product in a little while. I won't actually make a whole bunch more, but all I would do, so if I was going to do my chocolate, my Nutella, strawberry mint combination, I would thinly spread my Nutella. Now remember, Nutella contains added sugars. It's a sweetened product, and it's meant to be here. This is a special occasion, so we're just going to put a light coating of Nutella. Remember, tea sandwiches are meant to be thin and delicate, so we're not going to be globbing on tablespoons of Nutella, and all foods fit in moderation. So we will use Nutella, gives it that delicious rich chocolate flavor, then the thinly sliced strawberries. If you want to put mint on the inside, you can do that, or you can just put a touch of mint on the top. It's up to you. And when you're making the savory version, it's lightly spread cream cheese. I chose the light cream cheese here just because that's what I routinely use, and I don't necessarily want extra fat in my sandwiches. I just want to use this cream cheese because it really makes a nice, just like the Nutella, it's sort of a moisture impervious layer, so it keeps that one side of the bread from getting very wet. There are other fillings, spreads that you could use. I thought about a flavored ricotta, but ricotta is quite wet unless you really drain it and remove some of that moisture, and it would almost immediately get your bread, that one side, wet. So I opted for cream cheese and Nutella. Okay, so back to the savory sandwich, light spread of cream cheese. Then I put my cucumbers down, topped with the strawberries. Again, if you want basil or mint on the inside of your sandwich, you can either just do a light pulled or chopped pieces of herb, or just garnish on the top when you're finished. So I'm going to be back to show you the finished product. So I am back to show you the finished product, the fancy strawberry tea sandwiches. So I'm going to give you a close-up. You can see this one is the Nutella and mint. This one is the savory cream cheese, cucumber, and strawberry. You can see how beautifully the strawberries poke through, so you can see them through that nice window if you wanted to do that effect in your tea sandwiches. And I just served them, plated them up on this plate with some fresh additional slices of strawberries. So for me, this was so much fun to do this recipe. And if you've got an occasion like a shower, a wedding shower, a birthday, a fun summer garden party, anything where you might like to try an unusual dish with luscious strawberries, then I hope you try the fancy strawberry tea sandwiches. I would love to know how you like them. So join us next time as we move ahead with the next episode of Hunterdon County Farm to Fork. Remember, Megan will be back next week. I follow her up the following Friday with my coordinating recipe, and we will see you then.